Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you actually wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then join my Go Content Creators group where you would get access to 30 free videos and more continuing content for all their creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is all of this is free. All you have to do is simply go to the link below, head over to our page, and join my Go Content Creators group. Thanks a lot, and I will see you on the other side. All right, welcome to another live episode of geekoutdoors.com. And if you are not familiar with today's episode, on Mondays, I actually focus on content creators and people who are interested in marketing. And so if that is something that you are interested in, you are at the right place. And so today, the actual main subject I'm going to talk about is whether or not it is actually too late to actually become a YouTube content creator, and also what really stops most people from becoming a content creator to begin with. And the reason I want to talk about this is because it's something that I think everyone who is thinking about becoming a content creator, everyone thinks about this. And also everybody has reasons, absolutely many reasons, why they are not going to start to begin with or even continue doing it. Okay, and so let's go ahead and start with the real general thing that I think everybody thinks about whenever they think about becoming a content creator, and that is it too late? You know, is it too saturated? And, you know, if you actually go to YouTube and you look and see how many videos are there, how many content creators are there, it's really easy for you to just look real briefly and think like, wow, there's absolutely no way that I could even make it here amid all these millions of videos that are actually available right now, and then the millions more videos that are actually uploaded every single day. And so if you are a geek, you know, like myself, you probably did the same thing I did. So you're probably thinking, well, you know, if I'm going to create stuff on the internet, what's something that I like? And then let me see what else is there. And so if you are familiar with my channel, a lot of my older videos, you probably see a lot of video game stuff, right? And if you type in video games in YouTube, there's a lot of channels. There's absolutely infinite amount of videos that cater to video gamers. And so this is where I think people will automatically assume that there's no way for them to compete with all these other existing videos and even to be seen, because amid all these videos, there is just so much out there that it's definitely difficult to actually, you know, be seeing within the ones who are already established, and also to actually do something different. And so I do want to be realistic in that YouTube, it's not too late, okay? And I would say that's true for pretty much any subject, but also you kind of have to be realistic as well. Okay, that's why I wanted to show you this example of video games, because there's already a ton of video game content. And so if you did decide to do something within video games, it's not that it's impossible. Okay, and I'm just using this as an example, as a category that is highly saturated and competitive. And so it's not impossible, but you're going to have to put in a huge amount of effort, and you're going to have to do something that is different. Okay, and that's how you can actually make it, I would say, within YouTube in terms of, you know, actually having a chance to be seen. There's many other things that goes on behind that besides just making the video, but just understand that whatever category that you're going into, I do recommend that you actually go and look and see what's there first. And then after that, when you see what's already there, you know, kind of determine for yourself whether or not it's going to be worth for you to go into that field. Okay? And I will talk about why no matter what category you choose, for the most part, I really do think that you do have an opportunity to have your own unique perspective on it, okay? And it's kind of something inherent in yourself, okay? And so I'll go into that a little bit further, because it kind of goes into the reason, why most people stop, why most people don't even try to become a content creator. Okay, now, for example, if you do see something like this, right? And you see like, well, maybe the odds of you not being to get through all of this or even have a chance, well, what are some other things that you can do? Well, what I normally like to do, and this is actually what I did whenever I started my channel, and then later on whenever I decided to change up my channel, I always have this with me. Okay, and so obviously this is a notebook. You could use your phone as well, but to me this is easy. This is where I write down all my ideas, okay, for all my videos or anything that I have. I just write it down. And so I kind of did that. So what I did was I listed the things that I really enjoyed, but I also listed like things that I knew about. Okay, and so besides video games, I had many other things that I actually enjoyed, and also many other things that I felt like I could actually talk a lot about. Okay, and so that's not something that can be done all the time, because you actually have to really think about it. You have to think about it a lot further. But once you do have that down, then you could actually go into the whole part of just actually creating the content. Okay, creating your first piece of content. And so that's kind of what I did here. When I did the video games, after a while, I just pretty much stopped doing content, for many reasons. The biggest reason being I really didn't get any views at all. There wasn't really anybody watching my content because there's so many video game content already out there. And to be honest, I really wasn't doing anything that was different. I wasn't doing anything that set myself apart. And so because of that, I decided not to create more content. And so instead, I took a break. I actually almost took a permanent break. But then when I decided to get back into it, then I came with a different angle, with other things that I enjoyed talking about, other things that I felt like I could add something different to it. And so that's why you see my Linux content, you see me outdoors, you see me talking about geek news and all this other stuff, because even though those are categories that are also saturated, I felt like I could add something different to it. Okay, and that's actually how my channel came to be the way it is. And there's always going to be evolutions, but I do try to remain to the core of what it is. And so in a long-winded way, yes, there is an opportunity on YouTube. I think there's always going to be an opportunity, and that's almost in any platform. But you kind of have to do your homework as well to see the actual reality of what's already there. And if you do see that there is already a lot of content, a lot of competition in that area, you have to decide for yourself whether or not you could do something different, and whether or not it is actually worth the effort for you to try to break into this. Okay, and so that's a real, I would say, simple way of actually determining, whether or not YouTube is, it's already too late or not. I really do not think it's ever too late, but it really does heavily depend on the area that you're going to try to get into, which leads me to, what stops most people. Okay, and I think a lot of times for most people, what stops them is it's fear. Okay, fear because number one, if they've never done anything like this before, it's going to be pretty difficult. Just imagine if you've never spoken in front of people before. I think that's a good example. Okay, and especially if you are someone who is not normally very outgoing, or you don't really like to talk to a lot of people. Okay, that makes it even more difficult because you're going to be on the internet, on YouTube, where there's like billions of views every single day. And so that is a valid reason why I think most people don't start, is because of that particular reason, that they've never done this before, and that at the same time you are really putting yourself out there. Okay, and putting yourself out there could mean a lot of different things. First and foremost, if you're going to be showing your face, there's privacy concerns, right? You do not know, out of the 7 billion plus people in the world, you don't even know who's out there and who's actually watching your content. And then the second thing is, people who watch your content, there's going to be criticism. Okay, there's going to be trolls. There's going to be people, for whatever reason, just do not like you, okay? Or even though they don't know you, or they don't like your content, or there's something out there. And so that's something that I really think is probably one of the biggest reasons why people don't go out there, is because of the potential criticism. And actually, it's not even potential. There will be a lot of negative things out there. You know, just think about yourself as a child and how mean kids are. Well, imagine here in a world of 7+ billion people, yeah, there's going to be some people who definitely do not like you, okay, even though they don't know you. And so I think those reasons alone, never doing this type of thing before, and also the actual fear of having a lot of negativity thrown towards you, and honestly, that never ends. It actually gets worse as you go along. I think those two alone will stop people. But then other things, and I'm thinking about like my own experience, right? Other things that you think about is, okay, not only are there strangers that you don't know around the world could really add a lot of negativity. Well, there could be a lot of people who you know yourself who could make fun of you, who would say, why are you doing this? You know, just a lot of doubt. And that also is a huge challenge. It's a huge hurdle. And the reason why I'm talking about this right here is because when you are a new content creator, for the most part, I think like 90+% of people, these are the types of things that they're going to go through. These are the types of things that went through my mind. And there's probably many, many other things, but I'm just thinking of like the big stuff, you know, the stuff that really, you know, almost prevented me from continuing to create content, okay? And so other than those things, you know, it's mostly other people. You know, it's really never about yourself. You know, you do have your self-doubts, of course, and you do have obviously moments of self-confidence, but it's really everything else that surrounds you that really affects the majority of new content creators. And then even when you get through all of that, when you put your first video out there, or your first blog, or your first post, or audio, if that's what you decide to do, your first podcast, just be ready for, you know, like to have a long period for most people where nobody cares. You know, I mean, nobody cares. Nobody's watching your stuff. And then that's kind of what my thought was. But then the more content I created, and then when I got that first view, that first subscriber, that first comment, I realized that it's not the fact that nobody cares. It's just the fact that you haven't yet created something for other people to actually care about. Okay, and I know that's like a different way of maybe thinking about it, but if you do think about it that way, then I really think it makes it much easier, because you are new. Nobody knows you. They've never seen your content before. And so much like you meeting people, you know, in real life, you know, you're a stranger. And for the most part, people, you know, don't, you know, become close to strangers right away. You know, you have to establish some type of value, some type of, you know, some type of exchange, some type of relationship, you know, before it gets any further. And so the same thing happens here on the internet. It just so happens that it's virtual. And so you have to create something that actually other people would be interested in, okay? And it might take like some time depending on what you're creating, and also depending on the platform you're on. Within YouTube, I know it might not sound like it, but I still think that YouTube, it is a search engine, by the way. It's still relatively easier for you to rank your videos, okay, versus other places. Like, for example, if you try to rank at google.com, it's going to be really hard, you know, whereas years and years ago, it was easy for you to rank. So just kind of think of YouTube as google.com 2.0, okay, because that's really what it is. And right now, even though it might seem like it's saturated, there's a lot of content, YouTube is still a place that you can rank, okay, that you can rank your videos, that you can still be seen, okay? So once you actually have that out there, you know, you've gone through the whole initial fear, the whole potential backlash. Actually, you will have backlash and negativity. And then when you finally put your content out there and realize that you're going to actually have to put some work in to actually create something that people actually want to watch and consume, then things get, I would say, easier, okay? And so when I say easier, I don't mean that things are going to remain easy. What I mean is you actually get used to it, okay? You get used to people leaving negative comments, okay? But you also get used to people leaving positive comments, leaving you new ideas. And for me, that's what I focus on, okay? For all the trolls and comments and all the negative stuff, that doesn't really help me or serve me. And at the same time, when you focus more of your attention on those people, then you're focusing less attention on the people who really matter. Okay, and I know that's a hard thing to do, because out of the potentially, many hundreds or then later on thousands of comments that you get, just one or two bad comments, for most people, we're human beings, that could affect your day. But at the same time, they're nobody. And at the same time, where would you spend most of your energy and time? Where should it be spent? My opinion is it should be spent on the people who are actually supporting you. It should be spent on the people who are actually leaving a lot of constructive ideas. And so that's where I get a lot of my motivation as well, because those people who really want to be here on your, watching your content, interacting with you, they're going to be the people who help you grow the most. Okay, because they give you a lot of ideas and they give you motivation to move forward. Now, don't get me wrong, it's also definitely good to have people who challenge you as well. But I really think there's a difference between people who actually challenge you and maybe question things that you do so then you can improve, versus somebody who only wants to put a lot of negativity to bring you down. Because let's be real, the majority of people who are that negative, they're not doing anything with themselves. I mean, if you actually look at their channels, and this is like 99%, they don't have anything, okay? Whereas the people who are actually leaving things that are positive, that are constructive, and I'm not saying being nice all the time, there's two extremes. You can be really mean or really nice all the times, but I'm just saying something in the middle, and that's kind of what I feel the audience that has come to Geek Outdoors have. I think it's people, for the most part, they are positive, but at the same time, you could actually have, discussions, okay? And those are the ones that I enjoy, because I don't like either extreme. I don't like where it's always nice stuff, but I also don't like where it's always bad stuff. So I like something in the middle, okay? And so that will actually help you, in my opinion, get through a lot of the roadblocks that you might have. Because, I mean, as people, I think a lot of us do fear or are anxious about what other people think. A lot of people say, don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about all the haters and stuff. But you're a human being, so that will affect you. Okay, but once you get through all of that, y'all, and then you start creating more content, more people actually engage with you, and then whenever YouTube or whatever platform you're on recognizes that you are producing something people are watching, then you actually get more of a push. You get ranked higher slowly but surely. There's also other things that does happen underneath. I mean, there's a lot of SEO and optimizations that happens underneath for every platform, but especially on YouTube. Okay, I think it's really important for you to learn how to do some YouTube SEO, or digital marketing. That's something that I always talk about, because it's important in so many different areas. Okay, but once you get through all those things, I think the whole idea of what's stopping you from creating content, then that really doesn't like come into your mindset much anymore. Okay, then it really comes down to why do you want to keep making content? Okay, so it changes things. Instead of like what's stopping you, now it's like, why do you want to keep creating content? And that's kind of where I'm at right now, because even though I've created a ton of videos, and I did it on purpose, there's still a lot of room for me to improve in terms of growth. Okay, and if I want to focus on my subscribers, but I also want to focus on my content. I mean, for me, I really want to start with the content, but my focus this year is trying to improve, or working on improving the content, so then I can improve the growth. Okay, and so you're probably seeing this right now, where I'm really doubling down on that, because I think if you do produce content that is not only good, I mean, and good is subjective, but I'm saying good for my audience, but that also gets ranked as well, that YouTube will see as something that it should show. And because of that, then that would lead to growth. Okay, so it's a balancing act. And so so that's something that is ongoing. Okay, and as a content creator, as you do evolve, you're going to change a lot of things, but at the same time, I think as the more you do it, at least for me, you actually reflect on a lot of what you've done, especially if you've produced a lot of content. I think it's really cool. And so whenever I look at a lot of these content creators who have been on YouTube for a while, it's really cool for them to actually look back. And then if you actually look back at their older videos, you see their progression. And so I could see the same thing here. So that's another point that gives me a lot of motivation. And so I think that is it for this very short episode. What I'm trying to do now, this is my second live video for content creators and marketers. And so I still haven't got down first a schedule, a normal schedule yet. And then secondly, I'm still trying to figure out like topics and formats that would actually work the best. Okay, because the majority of people who actually are subscribe to my channel and come to my channel, most of them right now, they're people who came here because of Linux stuff. Okay, but my channel is not just Linux, there's many other things. And so that's why I'm going to continue doing this week over week, because I think that there are people who actually enjoy content creation and enjoy the marketing end of it, and that's something that I enjoy immensely. Okay, and so if you had any thoughts on anything that I talked about today, be sure to leave it in the comments area below. And if you didn't see the intro video at the beginning, if you are a creative geek, I am offering a free Go Content Creators group where you get access to 30 free videos and also additional content for all those creative geeks out there. And so if you want to get access to that, all you have to do is go to the link below. It'll take you to my page and you could sign up and get all this creative free content. And then finally, if you did enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe. And if you wanted to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/geekoutdoors.